All right, guys, phase 2 is complete. If you're watching this video and you don't know what phase 2 is, so 52 days ago, I started 75 Hard. And phase 1 was days 1 through 25, and phase 1 was going to be for me. I wanted to make sure that I could get it done because I had never gone past 10 days, and I wanted to just do everything that I was doing without necessarily posting it, or sharing it, or talking about it, just to see if I could do it, just to see if I could get that far. And if we're in phase 2, that means that I did. And phase 2 was going to be the next 25 days, days 26 through 50 or 51, or however you want to do that math. And the goal of phase 2 was going to be to bring people along and show them everything that was happening, because phase 2 happened to land in a very difficult time of the year. And then phase 3, which we are in now, we're starting, is kind of like the next chapter of what's next. So let me bring you guys up to date with phase 2. I did share tons of stuff on IG. We did record 1 or 2 videos here on YouTube. But phase 2 happened to land during not only our crazy moving adventure, which we are on week 41, I believe of, but it landed during Christmas Eve, an impromptu road trip to Miami to celebrate Christmas with family, New Year's Eve, and moving relatively all the time. So one of the reasons that we decided to do 75 Hard, or at least I did, was because I knew this would fall in the middle of this. And I wanted to make sure that not only did we end the year on a high like that, but that we also started the year with a bunch of momentum. And I've got the computer open because I did make some notes on things that I wanted to go over and talk about specifically. But so many people, today is January 15th, 2025, and most people that set New Year's resolutions, it's a system that I've always said is flawed, and if you don't know the numbers behind it, something like 80% of New Year's resolutions fail, which means 8 out of every 10 people don't get the thing that they resolve to do. So it's like, then why do you keep doing it? 1. 2, National Quitters Day is January 10th. So that means that even the people that try only make it the first 10 days. So it's a bad system, it's a bad formula, it's a bad recipe. I don't know why people go with it. But regardless, I wanted to ensure that we had momentum into closing the year, which I recommend all of you have, and momentum starting the year, because January 1st, we were whatever amount of days in already. I can't remember at this point, but we were rocking and rolling already. So from days 25 to, I'll take you through 51, which was yesterday. Let's see. In the middle of moving literally every week, we had to go to Miami for a holiday family get together. So what did we resolve to do? We trained first, we prioritized it. I was worried about water because it's a 3-hour drive and I didn't want to be on the road having to go like every so often. So we chugged a bunch of water before we left, and I'm pretty sure that we recorded that. And whatever was left, I think it was like a half gallon or so, we started drinking when we got there. We didn't get down there till like 9 o'clock or so. But it all got done. We read before we left. We did our 2 workouts. We took our picture. We did everything. And if you're watching this video first, 75 Hard is a 75-day challenge created by Andy Frisella, which has 5 daily tasks. You have to work out twice a day for at least 45 minutes. One of those must be outdoors. You have to follow a diet, a meal plan, or something. There is no rule about which diet or what kind of goal you have for the workouts or the diet, because it's not a physical transformation program. It is a mental toughness challenge. So the 2 workouts, follow your diet. You got to drink a gallon of water every day. You've got to take a progress picture every day, and you've got to read 10 pages of a non-fictional book or personal development book. So we did that day, and then when Christmas Eve rolled around, same thing. We went that day. We did 2 walks because the gyms were closed before we could get there. So we walked for 45 minutes twice, drank our gallon of water, ate foods that fit into our plan, and then Christmas Day we read early, went on our walks early. We took the kids to a movie. Didn't have any popcorn or anything, not because there's anything wrong with popcorn, just honestly didn't want any. And was more concerned with how many times I was gonna have to get up and go to the bathroom because I was drinking so much water. But we got it all done. And then we went to Lakeland for the weekend, and that was interesting. We had to find gyms to work out at there, which was great. Novelty. We came back. We spent New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with friends. Was drinking water till like 9 o'clock at night on New Year's Eve, but had already worked out twice, had already read my book, and started the new year just like that. You know, properly hydrated, water, book, the whole thing, moved, got it all done. But I think inside of that time, it's something that paralyzes people, and I'm very careful with using the word paralyzed because I was paralyzed, right? And to me, it means it literally. It's like you cannot. Now you don't want to, or you didn't fit time in. It's like you can't, right? And I think that the idea of holidays paralyzes people in their mind and doesn't allow them to do the things that they should be doing or want to be doing because they have this singular focus. And it's not a good strategy, right? So I think that inside of phase 2, I've picked up on that. I as a coach, it's one of the things that I see people do, and sometimes it's hard to give them the advice that's required for the situation because you also want to have empathy and compassion. Not all fitness goals require that you be all in 24/7, but I started looking at it a different way. And honestly, I think that this book, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, was very instrumental in a perspective shift. This is, while it's a story about his life, is almost like a master class in living. And one of the things that I want to share about 75 Hard is that if you're not working out and you decide that you're going to work out twice a day and you're going to drink a gallon of water and you're going to pay attention to what you're eating, it's like your body's going to shift because it's just going to happen, right? You're putting in a lot of work. But if that's not the goal, it's still the program for you because it's not about a physical transformation or a fitness-based transformation. It's about deciding that you're going to do these things for yourself and committing to them no matter what. And yesterday or the day before, I saw like one of the trainers that I'm friends with on Facebook say that he wrote 365 days of consistency is greater than 75 hard. And I don't know if it was a jab, and if it was a jab, so be it. But because I share what day I'm on every day. But 365 days of consistency of what? Of doing what, right? Like, what are you being consistent at? And that's kind of like where I want to tie this all in. I think that the plan of having these tasks gives you clarity in what you want to do. Whether you want to attach a goal to this or not is kind of irrelevant, but you can, right? If you have a fitness goal and you want to tie your fitness goal to 2 workouts a day and the kind of food that supports that fitness goal and staying properly hydrated, then that's great. But just the tasks themselves, and I think that people are like, I don't have that kind of time. It's like, what it makes me think about is like, you don't have 75 days for you to dedicate to you. And I'm not saying that you should do this, because I don't think 75 days is enough. What I am saying is, if you had a work project or task that you were working on, or if your kids had a school project and it was going to take 3 months to complete or 3 months to finish, you wouldn't let up on it because it doesn't take too much time, right? It's like you do it. And no one has the inclination, or a lot of people don't have the inclination to put that level of effort into themselves and taking care of themselves. Last year around this time, I was in the hospital because my blood pressure was through the roof. And if you're watching this video and you want to know the numbers, I would be more than happy to share the numbers, but I'm not going to go into the numbers. I will tell you that they were alarmingly high. Mostly because it becomes one of those things where it's almost unbelievable, even though I have proof, right? And it was scary. My cholesterol genetically has always been something that I have to work around and navigate. You know, it does run in my family, and I haven't always done the best at protecting that. But I can tell you that I do manage my blood work. I did a video. We had a day that we were moving. I had blood work that morning, and I still got everything done that day, right? And the blood work revealed that I had, if you want to see outcomes that are truly important, measurable, my triglycerides dropped by 75 points, my cholesterol dropped by 40 points. I had my blood pressure checked 2 weeks ago or so. No, today's the 15th. On January 2nd, my blood pressure is down 45 points. I'm gonna go with those are good things, right? And maybe your situation is not as bad as mine, but my situation has been worse than that, right? Again, I've been completely paralyzed and not able to do anything about it. So the desire to shift the focus into paying attention to those things has been the greatest gift, right? And I think that just reading this book, and I read The Power of Now, and I read Arnold's book, and everything that I've gone through and experienced, it's almost shifted the idea that I can't understand why we don't pay more attention to how little attention we put into ourselves and how little intention we have behind that, right? And that's always been like what I try to do with our business. Like, you know, we develop coaching, we develop health and fitness programs and design meal plans for people that have these big fitness goals and want to accomplish these big transformations, but we want to make sure that we do something that fits into their life. But inside of that, it's like you still watch people not make time for it. It's like interesting that it's so difficult for us to stop for a second and realize the level of importance that we have in how we show up every day. It's like, you want to make sure that you don't miss work, take care of your body, take care of your health. You want to make sure that you're here for your kids, for your family, take care of your body, take care of your health. You want to make sure that you have quality of life when you're done working, take care of your body now, take care of your health. And inside of the last 25 days, if you can navigate through the holidays, both sets of holidays, if you can navigate through the little bit of chaos that we live in, where we are moving every single week from one, you know, Airbnb to the next on this wild adventure that has brought us so much insight, and we still manage to drink our water, read our book, eat our food, cook our food, and now we've added our son's back in full martial arts training. For any of the parents that watch and say, well, I can't because I got to take my kid to X, Y, or Z. Our kid does 2 martial arts, each of them 4 times a week, and some days they're intertwined with each other. So it isn't something that we could just send them to do, right? We don't send our kid to school. He's with us all day. We homeschool or unschool or whatever. But we still find time because the time is there. And I go to these classes, and his jiu-jitsu class is an hour and change, and I see all the parents just sitting there watching, giving pointers. They could have been walking around the dojo. They could have been doing something in between, but instead they sit there and then they go home and not do anything. And I go to karate, and parents wait in the car or they wait inside, and also their kid's doing something and not doing anything. It's like, you make time for your kid to go do something, but you don't do something. Listen, this isn't anything new. I've been coaching people for almost 11,000 days. I think the exact 11,000th day is coming up. So it isn't anything that I've not talked about, but it is something that I haven't talked about and internalized always. There have always been phases of life where I am pursuing one goal or another, whether it's a race or a mud run or this or that. But I think that this particular one has always escaped. And not only did I want to complete it, but I also wanted to be the first of many things that get completed along the way, And it becomes a spiral of momentum when you do, because not only are you doing something that is good for you, but it inspires you to see what else you can do. And I want to say that not only is it something that I think that a lot more people should do, but I think that people need to stop doing it with whatever outcome they think they're going to get out of it. Too many people go into 75 hard to see how much weight they can lose. Too many people go into 75 hard to see, how their body's going to transform. Too many people that I know go into 75 hard and are not doing all of the things because they only want to get one part of it. It's like 75 hard is not 2 workouts a day. It's all of it, right? And for everybody that says, well, I don't have time for that, it's like the hard in 75 hard is what makes it difficult, right? It's not 75 easy, which is a program for. It's like, but so are other things, right? And we make time for it, and we dedicate time for it, and we do whatever we need to do to get those things done. And I think that after doing that, you start to see the world of possibilities and all of the things that could potentially come. And even as a coach, all the things that I've gone through with my health, again, stress, cholesterol, blood pressure, those are mortality-based things, things that could potentially end my life. And navigating through the seriousness of those, and then watching how people sometimes put very little intention and attention into things that don't matter as much and let those be the things that paralyze them is hard to see, and not necessarily want to take something like wake up. It's like you're the one interrupting your own process, your own journey. But I think all in all, it has been tremendously inspiring for me to see what we are truly capable of doing when we just manage our time a little bit better. Because over the years, we've been busier, right? It's like, I know that the situation now is not necessarily normal, but it's like, if you're watching and you think that you're busy, imagine having to pack up all of your belongings every week and move to a new place and unpack and drive. Our son's martial arts are an hour away. It is 4:33. Lais is in a session. We're leaving in a few minutes, and it's an hour drive for a 1 hour class today, for a 1 hour drive back. It's, everything eats up time, but there is time to do the things that you need to do for you if you stop for a second and actually acknowledge how important those things are. And over the next, today is day 52, so there are 23 days left. It's become something that we look at, Lace and I talk about it. So many days we were in our own head, like, if I had only had this much water by this time of the day, like, there's no way I'm going to finish that. When day 1 for us, we started at 5:30. I think it was one of the best things, because at 5:30 p.m. we started drinking a gallon of water, read 10 pages, did 2 workouts. It's like, if you could do that on day 1, then it's like, what else can you do? It's like, I'll finish this water by 8 o'clock, no problem, which has been a struggle for some reason. It's like, it's just mindless. You don't do it, right? I will gladly read them. I'm getting a new book today. I will gladly read 10 pages. The 2 workouts are already done. The picture I took this morning, it's super simple when it becomes part of your day and part of your routine, like all the other things that are part of your day and routine that you just may not be paying attention to. So the next 23 days, we have a multitude of other things that were not on the docket when I made the video about phase 1, 2, and 3. Today is the 15th. The 18th, which is Saturday, we have a photo shoot with our team. The 19th, we are going to Tampa for a posing workshop. All the martial arts stuff next week. Next weekend, we have a tournament with our son for the parents. Are we going to do 75 hard on a tournament day? The next day, we have another posing workshop that we're going to, also in Tampa, right? That is all of the next 10 days or so. And then we are moving twice, followed by more martial arts, followed by another jiu-jitsu tournament. And we are going to get it all done gladly. So what is next? The strategy for the next 23 days, which actually started, today's Wednesday, started on Monday, is going to be, because I wanted my caloric intake to be higher, because I spent too much time not reaching the amount of food that I needed. It is the first reduction in calories. Now, the reduction in calories comes because I have these other goals. Still have to work on my knee. I still have some strength goals that I'm trying to reach. We want to get back to salsa dancing. I just got my hunting license. I'm gonna get some hunting done. We are gonna go, what else were we gonna do? Salsa dancing, hunting, pickleball. Pickleball has interested me since it started, but the lateral movements with the knee are a little bit interesting. But the reason that I chose it is because it's in a controlled environment, and I do want to get back to racing toward the end of the year, and I think that'll be a good catalyst to making sure that my knees can handle the impact in a controlled environment, and obviously develop endurance and stamina while I do the controlled stuff at the gym. I do want to do the DECA again, so the rowing, no problem, the skier, no problem, all of those things, no problem, but the running part with two bad knees is a little bit of a problem. So working on those moving forward. But one of the things that we've discussed is, Lais is in prep. Like, why would we stop on day 76? A couple weeks ago, we watched the Conquer 100, where the Iron Cowboy does 100 triathlons in 100 days. And the thing that stood out the most is what happened after he finished 100, and that's exactly how we feel about day 75. It's like there is zero doubt in our mind that this will get done. It is systematic, it is ingrained right now. But what happens on day 76, if you watch a Conquer 100, if you haven't, I suggest you watch it. But if you wanna stay tuned and see what happens, then stay tuned and see what happens, because day 75 is around the corner, and day 76, we start something new. So cheers to everybody that is coming along this ride. It has been amazing. I cannot recommend dedicating 50 days to yourself, 25 days to yourself. The first 25 days were great. I cannot recommend dedicating 75 days to yourself, 90 days to yourself, more than, yesterday I was like, we should come up with a 365-day transformation for people. It's like, imagine dedicating a year of your life to yourself. It's like, when you're an adult, past your 30s, past 35, past 40, past 45, man, like, dedicating a weekend is hard. Carving out a week's vacation is hard. Imagine dedicating 365 days to you and improving you and the version of you that shows up to live the rest of your life after that. Imagine that. Peace out, everybody.